Get ready.
This is the voice of Wayne America.
Lighten up, Francis.
With your host,
Hi-ho, Kermit the Frog here.
Mike Carnes.
How do you measure yourself with other golfers? By height.
Only at WayneAmerica.com.
The supernova's gonna kill us all.
Okay, this guy is the real zero, that's true. Let's just think back when you guys were freshmen, huh?
.com.
Greetings from Wayne America. This is the Voice of Wayne America podcast. It's exclusive here at WayneAmerica.com. I'm your host, Mike Carnes, and every week here on the Voice of Wayne America podcast, we sit down with somebody who has some kind of connection to the best town in all of America, and that, of course, is Wayne America. I want to thank our sponsors, including AKA 142 Media, and you can also be a sponsor here on the program as well. Your business can be a part of this program. Just give me a shout out. Send me an email at mike@mikeecproductions.com. Well, the big story around at least this part of the United States anyway is the upcoming Eclipse that's going to be taking place on Monday, August 21st. And the Eclipse will be rolling through Nebraska starting sometime Monday morning and continuing on through the afternoon. It's not going to go completely over Wayne America, but it's going to be almost a total eclipse from our view here. But we get some, I guess, a neat thing to talk about as far as the eclipse goes. And I wanted to bring in Dr. Todd Young, who's the Associate Professor of Physics and Astronomy here at Wayne State College. And also on the program today is Kaki from State Nebraska Bank. She is helping to organize a bus trip of people from the Wayne area that will be heading down to Grand Island for the opportunity to view the eclipse on Monday. So we've got Kaki and Todd both on the show, and welcome to the program, you guys. And I know I think we're all looking forward to this Monday with the eclipse. It's going to be kind of almost a once in a lifetime event to be able to view a total eclipse like this.
Well, for most people, it's a once in multiple lifetimes, actually, because the next time a path of totality will pass through Nebraska is 365 years from now.
And we'll probably all be gone that weekend.
Yeah, that century.
Yeah. So Kaki, we'll start with you. This bus trip that's going on. This is something that the State Nebraska Bank has helped put together. Talk a little bit about how this has all come together.
I was going to put together my own trip with the Century Club, and we were going to, I wasn't sure what the response would be, and it's turned out to be a huge response. I was going to rent the Nebraska bus, this 26-passenger. Well, more people were interested, and I noticed WJAG was hosting a trip, and they've actually got 2 buses going, and I called Susan Staub there, and I asked if we could hitch a ride with her, because she'd already planned some of the things I had wanted to do on my own. Number one, the Sesquicentennial Art Exhibit, which is at the Stir Museum, by Todd Williams. He's a local artist who got an associate's degree in art, ended up majoring or going to the Kansas City Art Institute, and is a wonderful painter, and he decided to depict paint one painting of every county in Nebraska. There's 93 paintings. And that is something I wanted to see myself, and I knew other people would be interested. And so we will be doing that day, and other venues around the Stir Museum, like the Railroad Town, the NASA balloon launch. There's speakers, live entertainment, food booths, food kiosks, and we're just going to hang around out there at the Stir Museum, see what we can see. We leave very early in the morning. I think traffic is going to be like going to a Nebraska game.
I would guess that it probably will be.
Yeah, I think there's going to be a lot of people traveling out there, so I hope we're leaving early enough.
Yeah.
But we will just be there in Grand Island until the eclipse. We provide the lunch, the glasses, the protective glassware that you're supposed to wear, and we'll talk about that on the way out too.
Yeah.
The do's and don'ts, and I'm sure Todd knows a lot more about that than I do. So that's our plan for the day, and and then we will head back to Wayne after it's all over.
So it'll be a full day of fun down there in Grand Island. Get more than just the eclipse out of the deal. A chance to see some.
Hopefully.
See some neat.
We'll
Now is Todd from Wayne originally?
No, Todd Williams is from Central City.
Central City. Okay.
Yeah.
Okay. But yeah, he's got a really neat legacy paintings that he's done of all the counties. And I've seen Seward counties when I have a friend who works at the newspaper in Seward, and she had a picture of Seward's painting on her Facebook page, and it was really kind of a neat painting. So it'll be interesting to see. That's quite a chore to do one of all 93 counties,
Yeah, I
find
don't-
some kind of scene in each county and be able to do all of them.
It'll be interesting to see how long it took him to
Yeah.
do that, or when he came up with that idea for this sesquicentennial. So.
Yeah. Well, Todd, you're the kind of the expert here on the eclipse, at least here in town anyway. The eclipse is something that like you mentioned, is something that happens once in literally multiple lifetimes. I've seen some partial eclipses. I can remember seeing a partial eclipse. I think it was in 95, 96, when I lived down by Omaha. But to have a total eclipse, this is something that hasn't passed through Nebraska in a long time. And like you said to start there, something that probably isn't going to happen again for a long time.
That's correct. I mean, unless you have the ability to travel, of course. There can be upwards of 5 solar eclipses a year. Not all of them are total, but it's all about being in the right place at the right time.
Mm-hmm.
I mean, for this particular Monday, the United States is facing the moon and the sun, and so the shadow of the moon will actually be able to cross the United States. But there's a lot of total solar eclipses that go probably almost unseen because they're out in the middle of the ocean. Because of course our Earth is 70% water. I mean, so it's all about being at the right place at the right time.
Yeah. Now, I read doing some research before this interview. I think it's like 11 states will see the solar eclipse, the total solar eclipse at some point during the course of the day on Monday, starting I think in Oregon and going all the way down to South Carolina.
That's correct. Yep. And the United States is the only country that will have this path of totality actually going through it, right? So that's why this is being called the Great American Total Solar Eclipse.
Yeah. Now, when does it start? In I think Alliance is the first town out west that will be able to see the eclipse. When does it hit Nebraska, and how long does it take to travel through the state?
Oh, now you're testing me on Mountain Time versus Central Time.
Well, let's just do Central Time.
I think it's around 11:48 Mountain Time, and but it'll travel fairly quickly through the state. Just like it travels quickly through the United States. The fact that I can give you is that from west coast to east coast this shadow of the moon is only going to take 90 minutes. It's only going to be an hour and a half that this is going to take place across the entire United States.
And that's the total eclipse from beginning to.
That's that's just the
when
shadow of the moon traveling across the United States.
Okay.
Is only going to take 90 minutes. So like if somebody wants to keep up with the shadow so that the sun is blocked for the full 90 minutes, I mean, they'll have to be traveling in a rocket car, right? Because they'll have to be traveling faster than the speed of sound. So I'm just saying is that when people go to a certain location, I mean, most of the eclipse is a partial eclipse. But the totality, when the moon moves perfectly in front of the sun, and that dark part of the shadow of the moon, is right on top of them, that will last anywhere from a few seconds to 2 minutes and a half. That's all it'll be. Some people seem disappointed in that, but I think that if it's a nice day out, and that so that the moon really does cover the sun, and then suddenly the stars and the planet Venus comes out, and you see that solar corona. I mean, it's just going to be so spectacular that it'll still be 2 minutes that you'll remember for the rest of your life.
Yeah. I guess the one thing that a lot of people have been talking about, and I know I spent a good part of yesterday trying to find glasses to be able to watch the eclipse in progress. Mm-hmm. Obviously, that's something that's a major thing that you need to think about when you're dealing with this eclipse, because if you're looking at the partial eclipse, the supposedly the light is such that it can actually burn a hole or burn your retina or cause significant eye damage that is obviously permanent.
Yeah.
Can you explain how it is that during a partial eclipse that light becomes such a danger?
Well, it's actually the light that is a danger is the light that's always there. The reason why we don't go out and look at the sun now is just because the light intensity, the visible light intensity, is so is so great, that it's painful to our eyes, right? And so by instinct we turn our heads. But when the moon starts to move in front of the sun, that light intensity decreases, right? And so the pain begins to decrease as well, and to a point where, like, when it gets down to there's only 5% of the light still that we can see. The moon has covered 95% of it. The light intensity is decreased so much that it's no longer painful. But see, that's where the danger is that people forget that the sun not only emits visible light, but it emits all other types of light as well, including UV light. And it's the ultraviolet light, the UV light, that actually does the burning. That's why we get a sunburn, is because we didn't protect ourselves properly from UV light. And even 1% of the light from the sun carries enough UV light that it will still burn the back of your eye, and it will be painless. I mean, you won't even feel it happening until the next day, when you realize you suddenly have a blind spot, and it probably will actually at some point start to hurt because you did literally burn your eye.
Is that caused by the corona?
No, the corona will not burn your eyes.
That's the rim.
That's all during the partial eclipse.
Yeah.
It's so at no point, basically at no point during the partial eclipse, should you look at the sun without protection, even though it is tempting to do so, because the light intensity isn't as painful as it normally is. But again, it's the UV light that will still burn your eyes. But during totality, when the actual totality begins, that is the only time period in which you can actually look at the sun without protection, because the moon is blocking all of the light from the sun, all of the visible light, all the UV light, all the light from the sun. The corona there's not enough, that light is not going to harm you. Right?
So, and that actual full coverage is 2.5 minutes?
It depends on where you are in that path.
Okay.
Grand Island is pretty close to the middle of the moon's shadow, so that it will last, I believe, upwards of 2.5 minutes. Like now, where I'm going to be in Central City, that's not in the middle, so it's only going to be about 1 minute and 50 seconds for me. So it's all about, and so you really got to know that length of time, right? Because you don't want to be caught, when totality ends, and just like that, the sun's light is back. Then you got to be ready to put those glasses back on.
And then Friday, they're having a special seminar, maybe you were gonna talk about that, for the school students, the 4th through 6th grade that are going.
Yes, at the end of last year, I talked to them about the trip and going on the trip, and gave them some basic safety. I gave them a basic safety talk then, and we're just going to do that again. Pretty much just re-emphasizing the safety part of, don't look at the sun. At no point is it safe to look at the sun unless it's totality. And what's going to happen, I know for Central City, because we're going to take some of the students down there with a whole bunch of other students, is that they're going to sound off an air horn, so that the students know that they can take off their glasses, and then just about 5 or 10 seconds before totality ends, they'll sound the air horn again, so everybody puts the glasses.
So everybody have their glasses
So
back
yeah,
on.
we're gonna do everything we can to make sure these kids stay safe, but enjoy this amazing thing.
Yeah. Now the 4th through 6th graders are going down to Central City on Monday to view that, and I know that obviously not everybody can leave town, but here in Wayne, you're going to have a partial I guess not complete totality,
Yeah.
but I think it's about 94%. I think it is
Yeah,
around
about
it.
that, 94, 95, yep.
So it'd be just outside the realm of a total eclipse. So obviously you definitely want to have those glasses. Can you kind of explain the lenses, how those lenses are coated so that you can you can view the eclipse without burning your eyes?
Well, they are properly. The lenses will filter out UV light. I mean, that's one of the main things. And then for the most part, they're just like really, really, really dark, just to take out, the most of the intensity of the light from the sun. I mean, to put them on, in any given room, it'll be like putting on a blindfold. I mean, they're just, I mean, it's just
They're that dark.
They're just that dark, so that only very, very bright light will actually be able to get through, like that from the sun.
Yeah. Now I've been reading some stories that some glasses are being sold or offered or whatever that don't have that they're being advertised as Eclipse glasses, but they don't have the right shading.
Yeah.
Can you kind of tell me what the difference is between ones that the right ones and the wrong ones?
This is only me speculating, but I'm guessing that those glasses, the people that were making those glasses, they weren't properly certified. I mean, they were just putting them together themselves, and so they probably didn't get the UV light taken care of properly. I mean, it's pretty easy to just create lenses that are just very, very dark. But to actually get that proper combination of very, very dark and UV filtering to make everything safe, I'm guessing that's where the fault is in those glasses. I don't have a quick test, that I can make to check to see if a pair of glasses is good or not, unfortunately. Your best bet is if you are hesitant at all of the glasses that you have, don't use them. I mean, if you did buy some of those from Amazon and Amazon told you that these were not certified, I honestly wouldn't take the chance. I mean, there's other glasses that are out there, and there's other ways to enjoy the partial eclipse, without even glasses. You could set up a pinhole camera, you could set up a projection system with even a small telescope will produce a pretty good magnified view of the partial eclipse without having to actually look at the sun. So there's still plenty of ways to look at it, to enjoy it safely.
Now, people who might want to shoot pictures of the eclipse, obviously, if these burn your eyes, then obviously it has a potential to burn your equipment as well.
Yes, I would make sure that you understand the specifications of your camera, because when the partial eclipse begins, the sunlight will still be very, very bright, and I think some people get the idea is that if they just kind of hold the camera off to the side and take a picture that it'll be okay, but if that light intensity will burn your eyes, it'll also burn out the CCD chip in many of these digital cameras. So, but at some point, there might be a threshold for those cameras in which, when the light intensity gets down to 50%, 40% or something like that, then maybe the electronics in the camera will be able to handle it. But they have to do their research about what it is that they're going to try to take a picture. Honestly, for the most part, again, if you really don't know exactly what you're doing, you probably shouldn't do it.
Yeah.
And just enjoy the day and let the professionals handle it, because I'm sure there's going to be millions of photographs and millions of videos by the professionals. Just let them do it and just enjoy the day.
Yeah. I know. I saw a video actually this morning when I was getting ready for this that there was a camera company that was offering tips on shooting the eclipse, and they said if you want to shoot your eclipse with your iPhone, here's what you do: you take your iPhone out of your pocket and you throw it away. so I think that was
going to be my next question.
The
Should
explanation
I shoot it with
was,
my iPhone?
Yeah, the explanation being that I guess this, the assumption that the camera in the iPhone isn't equipped for it. And then I think also another thing is if you're pointing an iPhone at something 93 million miles away, it's just going to be like in the grand scheme of things, it's going to be just like a speck of dust that you're taking a picture of.
It's just live in the moment.
Yeah,
That's right.
yes. It's one of those times where we put technology away and just live in the moment.
Yeah.
Yeah, that's right.
Is what we're doing. We're talking with Dr. Todd Young from Wayne State College and Kaki from State Nebraska Bank here on Voice of Wayne America podcast. Wanted to take a moment to answer the question, what does the AKA in AKA 142 Media stand for? Well, it stands for many things, but the most important thing is that AKA 142 Media provides awesome kickin' apps that can be downloaded to your phone. Whether it's your school, your favorite youth sports program, or your local business, AKA 142 Media can build an awesome kickin' app that meets your needs. And make sure you download the official Wayne America mobile app that's now available for your smartphone or your mobile device. For more information getting a mobile app designed, give Kevin an email at kevin@aka142.com and tell him that Mike sent you. That's AKA 142 Media, awesome kickin' apps. On the Voice of Wayne America podcast this week, Dr. Todd Young, the Associate Professor of Physics and Astronomy at Wayne State College, and also on the program Kaki from State Nebraska Bank, who's organizing this bus trip. And this bus trip's, we'd mentioned the stuff that's going on beforehand, but this is a lot of fun to be able to go and witness history with a bunch of people that you know, and even if it's not something that's happening in town, to be able to go with this group of people is going to be a lot of fun. Look at the names on my bus that I'm going on. I'm really looking forward to hanging out with some of these people and being a part of this.
Well, thank you for signing up. And the Century Club is a travel group for the bank, and we try to find fun venues to take people to. And at the end of the week, we're doing a brewery tour. So, we
couldn't do them both in one day?
No, we couldn't do them both in one day.
That'd be a good one to do on the way home.
It would be, yeah. So we try to find interesting things for people to go see and experience, and people that have the time. So
yeah.
Anyway.
Yeah, a brewery tour, that would be a lot of fun. We got the brewery opening up here in town here later this fall.
He wasn't ready for us.
He wasn't ready yet?
No, but we're putting that on our agenda for next year, next spring.
Yeah, that'd be really neat. Getting back to the eclipse here, Kaki, have you experienced any kind of an eclipse before? Do you remember seeing one?
I remember not too many years ago a lunar eclipse. I don't know what year that was. Do you know, Todd?
No, but lunar eclipses are able to
more
be.
Common.
They're more common, and they're more common, and they're more commonly seen because the Earth's shadow is so large in comparison to the moon that the moon, a lot of times the moon will fully go into the Earth's shadow, and anybody that's on the night side of the moon, the night side of the Earth, will be able to see a lunar eclipse, where you have to be in that special spot for a solar eclipse.
My main concern for Monday is how can I control the weather?
Yeah.
Yeah.
We'll pray for a
that's
sunny
the only
day.
thing that can mess this up is Mother Nature. And,
That's right.
hopefully she's getting all this rain that we've had the last few days. Hope she gets that all out of her system before
Well, it's supposed to be
before
nice
Monday.
Saturday and Sunday.
Yeah.
Hot and sunny.
And I've been keeping track of the central
Have ya?
city, and so far,
Yeah.
it looks like a nice day. So
Good.
Yeah, I think the forecast I saw for Grand Island this last night was that I think there was I think they said mostly sunny skies. They said maybe a few lingering clouds, but what that means,
Right.
just gonna be a couple in the air. Is it gonna be cloudy for part of the day, or what? But
I mean, even if it ends up being cloudy, there's still going to be the phenomenon of it's going to get very dark. I mean, and so you have that, and as long as if there's a few breaks in the cloud, great. But I think the only thing that can really dampen the day is, literally and figuratively, is a thunderstorm. So, but the knock on wood, I think it'll be okay.
yeah, the weather forecast, like I said, is looking pretty good for Monday. So the bus tour Monday will leave about 7:30.
From Walmart in Norfolk.
Yeah,
yes.
so if you're on that bus tour, you'll want to get up early, obviously, because you'll need to be in Norfolk by 7:30 when they take off, and
Or earlier.
earlier would be probably a good idea. Yes,
That's full, or
It is full.
Okay,
There's
yes, so,
a
so
big
this-
waiting list.
okay? Yeah,
Some
all right.
people are just kind of realizing, oh my gosh, this is going to be quite a phenomenon. So
yeah.
we're getting calls, and I can't take any more people.
Mm.
And there's, I know, at least 20 on our waiting list that we're trying to get in. So,
Yeah.
and we could not get any more coaches. They're
All the buses are spoken for.
They're all spoken for throughout the state.
Yeah.
We've tried several different places. So.
Yeah, this is one of those things that you probably needed to plan well ahead of time. I know I was looking for a filter for my camera lens, because I would have liked to have shot the progression of to totality, and I've been able to shoot some photos of that. But there is no place on Earth that I can, or at least no place that can ship to Wayne, Nebraska in a matter of a couple of days. Anyway, I contacted. I tried to order one on Amazon, and the earliest they could ship it out was, I think, September 1st. And tried calling camera company in Omaha. They don't have anything. They don't know of anybody that has anything. So it's one of those. This is one of those events. It's like you said at the start. It's a once in a several lifetime event because it's something that happens very rarely, and for it to happen in this part of the country, something that hasn't happened. I think what was the last time that there was a total eclipse here?
Well, there's the last time that a total eclipse traveled from west coast to east coast of the United States was actually only just in 1918. So
That didn't come through Nebraska.
It didn't come
totally.
through Nebraska, though. That's correct. But it did traverse the United States. And the fact that happened as recently as 1918 is actually somewhat remarkable because they're usually spread out a lot more than that.
Yeah. Yes.
So, yeah.
This is really kind of a big deal, and something I think we're all looking forward to witnessing. Something to.
There is another path of totality that will travel through the United States again, actually in 2024. This one is going to come up from Mexico through Texas, basically follow the Appalachian Trail and then exit Maine. So like us here, that's a longer bus trip, but at least it's still in the United States, so there's that opportunity now. And I think everyone's figuring out that if you want to go enjoy that total solar eclipse, find your hotel room now.
Yeah.
book your room.
And that's a different
now.
angle.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
Different time of year.
That's a southwest northeast
Yes,
angle.
that's in April. So, couple things that I can share that the planetarium does still have some glasses. I've been trying to make sure I hold some in reserve so that I can get them distributed to as many people as possible. And I want to maintain my promise that if you do see a planetarium show about the eclipse, that you will get some eclipse glasses. And so far, so good. And I do have planetarium shows this Saturday at 2 o'clock and 3 o'clock. And then I'm just going to keep running shows. If there's still people that need to see a show, I'll just keep running shows all afternoon until everybody gets to see the show and get an opportunity to get a pair of glasses. So, so there's that. And the other thing too is that if you are in Wayne, if you can't get away to see totality, we're going to set up a solar telescope and have some extra glasses on hand too in the Willow Bowl. During the eclipse. I mean, so if you want to swing by the Willow Bowl and take a magnified look at the eclipse and talk to Dr. Davis, who's going to remain here, that's all available as well.
All right. So if you can't make it to wherever the path of totality is here in Nebraska, as Dr. Young said, you can check it out here at the Willow Bowl here at Wayne State on Monday. That's going to be a neat moment in history to be able to witness this event, and I don't like I said, I'm looking forward to going on the bus ride to Grand Island, and thanks Kaki for putting that together. That's going to be, I think we're all going to have a lot of fun with that on Monday.
I think it'll be a great day.
Yes. Been talking with Kaki Lay from State Nebraska Bank and Dr. Todd Young from Wayne State College here on the Voices of Wayne America podcast, and that's going to do it for this week's edition. And so. Like I said, the eclipse on Monday, get out and see it if you can, and make sure you take whatever safety precautions you need to take to be able to view it in a safe manner and enjoy a moment in history that will be happening on Monday. That's going to do it for this week's edition of the Voice of Wayne America podcast, and we'll be back next week with more here from the best town in all of America. That's here in Wayne, America. Have yourselves a good week, and we will see you later.